start with story number 1. Story 1. Adventurous escapades in the Scottish Highlands. Confronting aggressive cows. A few years back, I, along with my 2 adventurous friends, embarked on a life-changing journey for a week-long wild camping trip in Dumfries. Our mission was simple: ditch the tents, rely on ponchos and tarps for shelter, and embrace the raw nature of wild camping. This tale is filled with challenges, laughter, and a heart-stopping encounter with some rather unexpected adversaries. Aggressive cows. Picture this. The sun was yet to rise, and the air was filled with excitement and anticipation as we boarded an overnight coach from Liverpool to Dumfries. It was the start of an extraordinary adventure that we would remember for a lifetime. But little did we know, just minutes into our trek, we'd encounter our first hurdle. We took a wrong turn. Can you believe it? We'd barely begun, and we managed to mess up the navigation. Nevertheless, undeterred by the early morning mishap, we persevered and approached a war memorial that would serve as a crucial navigational checkpoint. As we caught our breath near the memorial, I couldn't help but ponder about the tales of souls buried at crossroads. This haunting thought sent shivers down my spine, but the beauty of the Scottish sunrise soon washed away my unease. Our spirits soared as we basked in the warm embrace of the golden sunlight, trekking southwest towards Cargen Bridge. The narrow pavement forced us onto the road occasionally, where we caught sight of our first furry friend, a rabbit. We took it as a sign of good fortune and playfully aimed through imaginary scopes, making popping sounds, and rubbing our bellies at the adorable creature. Our journey was filled with quirky landmarks, like the house sign with 2 plastic-looking swords protruding from it, with some Gaelic writing that only a true Scot could decipher. We chuckled at the uniqueness of the place and marveled at the rich history woven into the Scottish landscape. After trudging through challenging terrains, we finally reached a serene spot, our well-deserved rest point. We settled down, relishing Scotch oatcakes, cheese spread, and hot jet-boiled coffee. My friend Corky decided to take off his soaked shirt, and we couldn't help but laugh at the steam rising from his shoulders. The exhaustion from the journey was starting to catch up with us. Little did we know that our adventure was about to escalate into a dramatic showdown with some seemingly innocent, yet surprisingly menacing, adversaries. Cows. Crossing a field filled with these curious creatures turned out to be a big mistake. We found ourselves surrounded by a group of cows, who seemed both fascinated and hostile toward us. In the heat of the moment, fear gripped us as we realized the gravity of the situation. Instinct kicked in as we tried to maneuver our way out of this tense standoff. Fortunately, with some quick thinking and a bit of luck, we managed to avoid any harm. But, as we later discovered, cows can be more dangerous than we ever imagined. So, this unforgettable journey taught us to expect the unexpected and to tread carefully when exploring the great outdoors. Our encounter with the cows left us with an exhilarating story to share, but it also served as a reminder to respect and be cautious around nature's creatures. Wild camping in the Scottish Highlands may be thrilling, but it comes with its fair share of surprises. Stay tuned for more tales from our incredible escapades, and if you're ever in Scotland, keep an eye out for those curious cows. Let's go to story number 2. Story 2. Shadows in the Wilderness. A terrifying encounter in Washington National Forest. The allure of the Washington National Forest, the oldest of its kind in the southern United States, beckoned us with its vast untouched wilderness spanning nearly 2 million acres. As a group of city dwellers from Haverhill, Massachusetts, my buddies and I sought solace in the great outdoors, away from the hustle and bustle of urban life. But little did we know that our trip to this idyllic forest would turn into a heart-pounding and harrowing ordeal. Our journey to the heart of the wilderness began with an epic road trip, covering over 1,500 miles from Massachusetts to Arkansas. We made the most of our journey, stopping at various cities along the way. The anticipation grew as we approached Washington National Forest, eager to immerse ourselves in nature's serenity. Upon arriving at our campsite, we marveled at the beauty that surrounded us. Verdant foliage, clear skies, and the scent of pine welcomed us with open arms. However, our excitement was tinged with trepidation, knowing that we were in the prime hunting season. High visibility jackets and bright orange hunter caps were a common sight as hunters roamed the forest. Fortunately, our timing proved fortuitous as we discovered a window during the high summer when hunting was strictly forbidden. This meant that large sections of the forest would be deserted, and we could truly embrace the tranquility we sought. Filled with anticipation, we ventured into the woods, leaving behind the trappings of modern society. Our days were filled with leisurely hikes, fishing by the river, and relishing the unspoiled beauty of nature. By evening, we would gather around the campfire, singing songs, sharing stories, and toasting to the joy of life. As we delved deeper into the forest, we stumbled upon a hidden gem for buying outdoor camping needs called the Outlaw Liquor. It was a rustic little shack on the outskirts of a small town called Crystal Springs. The store's interior resembled a hunting lodge, with stuffed heads of animals lining the walls. Jeff, the owner, was a character with a wealth of local knowledge. He introduced us to the best locally made wines and spirits, and we sampled his homemade wine, which was surprisingly delightful. We returned to the campsite, loaded with beers, Jeff's barrel-aged Abraxas, and mouth-watering beef jerky. The nights were alive with laughter, camaraderie, and the joy of being surrounded by the majesty of nature. However, our blissful sojourn took a sinister turn on one fateful afternoon. Our beer supplies ran low, prompting us to hike to Outlaw Liquor once more. As I ventured into the woods for a quick nature call, I stumbled upon a scene that froze my blood. Hidden in a clearing, I witnessed a group of rough-looking men surrounding a terrified woman, battered and bound. Panic surged through me as I realized the gravity of the situation. These men were not hunters. They were something far more sinister. My heart raced, and my mind whirred with fear and uncertainty. I knew that confronting them would be dangerous, and we had to leave immediately to seek help. I signaled my friends to return to the campsite discreetly. We sprinted back, each step heavy with dread. Our minds were consumed with the chilling image we had witnessed. As we reached the camp, we decided to call the authorities, desperate to save the woman from her tormentors. But the hours passed, and we heard nothing back from the police. Anxiety gnawed at our souls, and we wondered if we had done enough. Had we done the right thing by not confronting those vile men? Our sense of helplessness weighed heavily on our hearts. In the days that followed, our time in the Washington National Forest lost its luster. The shadows of that haunting encounter loomed over us, and our joy turned to sorrow. We left the forest with heavy hearts, haunted by the thought of what we had witnessed and the fear that justice might not prevail. To this day, the memory of that terrifying encounter lingers, a stark reminder that even in the vastness of nature, darkness can lurk. Washington National Forest holds secrets, some beautiful and awe-inspiring, others haunting and unspeakable. In the depths of the wilderness, shadows hide, and not all that roams these woods seeks the purity of nature. Are you ready for story number 3? Story 3. Beneath the Stars. A journey of courage and compassion. Back in early 2014, my close-knit group of friends and I were determined to make a difference in our community by raising funds for charity. We brainstormed ideas endlessly, from shaving our heads to organizing community events, but nothing seemed to ignite the passion we were seeking. We needed a daring and unconventional approach to grab people's attention and open their hearts to donate. One evening, as we sat around a flickering campfire, the idea struck me like a lightning bolt. Why not embark on a challenging adventure to raise awareness and funds for the homeless? The plan was bold. We would spend 7 nights sleeping rough in the Brecon Beacons, a majestic mountain range in Wales, after hiking a grueling 20 miles to get there. It was a crazy and daring feat, but we knew it would catch people's attention and inspire them to donate to the cause. When I proposed the idea to my friends, I expected them to laugh it off as absurd, but to my surprise, they were intrigued by the audaciousness of the plan. With a sense of camaraderie and determination, we set out to make this unconventional charity event a reality. With unwavering determination, we started spreading the word about our charity venture. Social media became our ally, and soon, the support began pouring in. Friends, family, and even strangers were intrigued by the audacity of our mission, and donations began flowing in, surpassing our wildest expectations. We had struck a chord with people's compassion, and it felt gratifying to know that our efforts were making a difference in the lives of those less fortunate. As the departure date approached, our excitement mingled with anxiety. The Brecon Beacons were no ordinary place. They were used by the British Special Air Services for their training due to their rugged and challenging terrain. Moreover, April brought with it unpredictable weather, with heavy rain and strong winds being common occurrences. To ensure our safety during the week-long adventure, we invested in military surplus gear, which proved to be our best bet against the harsh elements. We carefully packed our rucksacks with canned food, water, and other essential supplies that would sustain us during our nights in the wilderness. On the day of our departure, we set off with a mix of excitement and apprehension. As we hiked through the breathtaking landscape, the weight of our heavy backpacks tested our endurance. The miles felt endless, and pain gnawed at our shoulders, feet, and knees. Despite the physical strain, we drew strength from each other, encouraging one another to keep moving forward. As we ventured deeper into the wilderness, the beauty of nature enveloped us. Lush green valleys, pristine lakes, and towering mountains greeted our weary eyes. But we were also reminded of the challenges that lay ahead as we caught glimpses of the rugged terrain used by the military for their training exercises. By the time we reached our designated campsite by a glistening freshwater lake, we were both exhausted and exhilarated. The mesmerizing beauty of the surroundings temporarily alleviated our fatigue as we sat around the crackling campfire, sharing stories and laughter. The following day, we woke up at dawn, eager to embark on a morning hunt. Though we weren't experienced hunters, we hoped to capture the wildlife in their natural habitat through our lenses. As the sun began to rise, we ventured deeper into the wilderness, hoping to catch sight of elusive creatures. To our surprise, we stumbled upon a solitary dog walker in the remote wilderness. The unexpected encounter left us both amused and slightly nervous. The walker seemed unfazed by our camouflage attire and carried on his way, leaving us to marvel at the serendipity of the encounter. As the days passed, we immersed ourselves in the rhythm of life in the wilderness. Gathering firewood, fishing in the lakes, and taking in the splendor of nature became our daily routines. Evenings were spent around the campfire, sharing ghost stories and sipping beers under the starlit sky. However, one evening, as the darkness deepened, our tranquil atmosphere was shattered by a sudden intrusion. Armed police officers emerged from the shadows, their torchlights illuminating our campsite. Panic gripped our hearts as we were ordered to lie face down on the damp forest floor. The officers discovered the air rifle that one of my friends had brought along. Fear mingled with uncertainty as they questioned us about our presence in the wilderness. Explaining our noble mission and the charitable cause we were supporting, we felt a mix of relief and trepidation, unsure of how the situation would unfold. To our surprise, the officers showed unexpected empathy and understanding. They were impressed by our charitable endeavor and decided not to press any charges. They confiscated the air rifle but left us with our other gear, urging us to refrain from such adventures in the future. As we bid farewell to the armed police, we felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and humility. Our journey had taken an unexpected turn, revealing the kindness and compassion of those tasked with enforcing the law. It was a testament to the power of our mission, as they recognized the noble cause we were championing. As we completed our 7 nights in the Brecon Beacons, we returned home with hearts full of gratitude and memories that would last a lifetime. Our daring adventure had not only raised significant funds for the homeless, but it had also taught us the value of courage, compassion, and the beauty of stepping out of our comfort zones. Beneath the stars of the Brecon Beacons, we had discovered the power of human connection, the wonders of nature, and the true meaning of giving back to the community. Our charity venture had not only changed the lives of the homeless, but it had also transformed us, leaving an indelible mark on our hearts and souls. We vowed to continue making a difference and to embrace every opportunity to spread compassion and kindness wherever we roamed.